This escaped most people's attention, but it's big. Iran is now openly launching underground ballistic missiles in a military exercise meant to get the U.S.'s attention. The exercise involved a fake aircraft carrier in a nearby waterway modeled on American ships. Watch. The missiles come straight up out of the ground through the earth without requiring a launch pad. The exercise is a reminder of escalating tensions with Iran earlier this year, including the U.S. strike that killed one of its top generals, Qasem Soleimani. So why is this happening now? And how should or could the U.S. respond if they wanted to? I asked Behnam Ben Taleblu. He focuses on Iran at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Behnam, Iran made no secret of these exercises. Why are they doing this, and why now?
Well, Iran has often scheduled annual military drills for the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. That's its elite asymmetric military force. But right now is a special time. Iran is unveiling new military capabilities, new ways to launch ballistic missiles, and particularly looking ways to offset the political claim that the U.S. max pressure strategy is working. So while these drills were planned in advance, whenever they're scheduled, they're never absent a larger regional context.
I know that the IRGC, at least part of it, was designated a terror organization, right, by the Trump administration. Is this the same part?
It's the entire IRGC, actually. The Trump administration ended a decade-long debate in Washington about whether you could designate the foreign arm of a country's formal military, and the IRGC is part of Iran's formal military. So two elements of the IRGC, the Navy and the Aerospace Force, partook in this drill, but the entire umbrella organization was designated.
When you say the IRGC is an asymmetric organization, meaning what? It's not the official military, but this sure looks a lot like an official military exercise.
And it is an official military exercise in the sense that there are men in uniform and weapons and bombs going off. But the IRGC is a parallel military institution, is tasked with safeguarding not just the country, but the ideology of Iran, the Islamic Republic's revolutionary ideology, to keep it in that revolutionary state. And they go abroad. So they're not just tasked with defense, they're tasked with offense. They have a unit, the Elite Quds Force, that was led by the formerly killed Major General Qasem Soleimani. So they're basically the one running Iran's proxy wars and terrorism apparatus abroad. So the unofficial nature of Iranian interventions is what makes it asymmetric.
Is that to say that some of these weapons and technologies being debuted wouldn't just stay in Iran? They'd be going out to all the places where IRGC is involved?
Well, the IRGC has selectively proliferated certain systems, anti-ship systems that you saw Iran test, some earlier variants of them, which actually came from China that Iran reverse engineered in the 1990s, have made their way to the Houthis in Yemen, and way back in the day in the 2006 war to Lebanese Hezbollah in Lebanon.
When you look across the map, does this have a stabilizing, neutral, or destabilizing effect?
This has an inherently destabilizing effect, and perhaps this is best personified by the fact that about a day and a half ago, 2 U.S. bases across the Persian Gulf on the Arab side were put on red alert because now the whole world knows Iran doesn't just test-launched missiles for the sake of testing them. They are willing to use these weapons in military operations. So the U.S. suffered 16 ballistic missile strikes in January when Iran fired them at 2 bases in Iraq. Fortunately, no one was killed, but everyone is taking prudent, judicious, and precautious measures here. And so now you can't really ever tell, is this just a drill or is this the beginning of something larger?
Finally, Behnam, should the U.S. respond in any way or just stay put?
I think the U.S. has an interest in mocking the missile tests that failed, but in general, it should observe, see what capabilities are evolving, and see what is merely a tube of fiberglass that is flying versus what is a new, novel missile capability. And I think every time Iran does these drills, they're signaling something, and we have to pick up the signal amongst the noise.
Helping us understand what's happening in Iran, not just today, but in the broad scape. Thank you so much, Behnam. It's a go for NASA's launch to Mars tomorrow morning.